live still. Hi, I'm Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Hey, Matt. Matt had to leave. That's why he
blue screened the laptop.
As he got up, he yanked out a cord. No, we blue screened, and Matt decided it was time for him to hit the road because he's got to drive 4 hours before he goes to bed.
Which is kind of what I came back from.
Yeah. Well, you guys' jobs suck. You guys should retire like I did.
I want to go to a nightclub. I've decided that tonight.
A nightclub?
Like a 90s nightclub.
Oh, what's the one over
a good
by the
one.
casinos? There's one that kind of caters to old people
like us.
Yeah. You would have liked the club because the club was a lot like that. Because what drove the club was not nearly as much modern music, it's more older stuff, which was cool. So, but anyway, I know you love conspiracies.
I am a conspiracy.
You are a conspiracy. So
yes, this is now.
This is now. That was then. Sorry, we blue screened, and then Matt said, "I just gotta go. I gotta go."
No, I'm Matt. Look at my big stupid face. I'm Matt. Watch me make stupid faces. I'm Matt.
That's Matt.
Yeah.
That's Matt. So anyway,
I look like a giant gummy bear from the Gummy Bear song.
Stop it.
What am I filling?
You are filling. Anyway, sorry, I was reading a notification on Facebook. So this is my thought. I don't know if there actually was 2 real firing props. My thought is there was one original metal, and then it was cast. They used it for the Marathon Power 5.
Did it say Denix on it?
No, it did not say Denix. Does everybody know the Denix screw up?
Oh, boy.
Do you know the Denix screw up?
Yeah.
It was Master Replicas. They.
How many Four Locos are we in?
2.
He's only I don't know, 1 in.
Master Replicas, when they made, I'm thinking it was the ESB, one of the ESBs. They made an ESB, Master Replicas, and it had the Denix logo in it. They never, mine had a Denix logo. If you can see, you can tell right there, and that right there. I removed the Denix logo because it's not supposed to be there.
Master Replicas is always right.
No,
no, they're not. Apparently, they had access to the archives, but that goes to show that none of the original DL-44s, except for the resin copies and the resin stunt versions, still exist. All the original full metal ones, they don't exist anymore. I scratched that. I think Return of the Jedi's do, but the ones earlier, they don't.
Well, what do we have to do to be able to get a hold of, just run amok through the archives for a while?
Well, you have to be a high-level licensee, and which would be allowed some access. You could work at ILM and get lucky to be asked to do something like at one time there was a group at ILM that were working circa the Phantom Menace era, the original Star Destroyer that was reused. They reused the original Star Destroyer in Empire Strikes Back. But the original Star Destroyer was on display, and then in transport, bringing it back from being on display in a museum, it was damaged. Basically, they left it on the armature, and then as it drove across the country, the armature vibrated and fell apart and went all the way through the Star Destroyer. So they took all the original pieces they could find and then meticulously glued the whole thing back together. And while they were in it, they upgraded the high-intensity lights to LEDs that didn't create a lot of heat. But those guys, that was a big thing for them to work on the original Star Destroyer. That was done in 1977, and they rebuilt it in the 90s after it was damaged in transport.
Oh, so intern work.
No, these were all these. If you, some of these stories are very readily available from Fawn Davis. Actually tells the story of how it was damaged and how he got to help rebuild it and how cool it was. So, yeah. So anyway, this is my personal thought. Or let's just put it out there. Go to the Rock Island, read the description of the blaster they have up. They will even tell you in the description that they didn't have all the pieces to the original scope. And they actually ended up redoing it. And they even have a little bit of bit about there was a dovetail fitting they didn't reproduce the dovetail fitting when they restored or reassembled the gun. They just made some pieces and reassembled it. And if you really want to see the dovetail on this scope mount, you will see it in was it Silent Prey? Sitting Prey. Prey. Yeah, your brain is he's got gummy bears on the brain. Anyway.
Matt took his gummy bears, just so you know.
So anyway, that's I think, I don't know what I think, but the serial number that was on the stunt, ESB stunt, which we're pretty sure is the same mold that created the Mearson Power 5 also. It's a bullnose blaster. It's a bullnose mold. Isn't the same as the serial number on the one that is.
Hey, Sean. I'm Matt.
Which leads me to think about the fact that this blaster being what it is, Han Solo's blaster, right? Now, Rock Island is a very well-known, and if you are a big Gun Jesus person, he is there all the time messing with collections at the Rock Island auction. You know that, right, Hayden?
Yeah.
He's always there going through. It's a really well-known and very prestigious auction house, but they're not a prop auction house. And this is my own personal feeling, is the gun came from Bapty. We know this. But it hasn't gone through the scrutiny of the movie memorabilia auction houses. And those guys take screen captures, production photos, they match serial numbers, they do all kinds of crazy stuff to find identifying marks to prove that this is the piece before they will endorse it. And
why don't you have that job?
Wouldn't that be the auction house you would want to do? Because they are well known, they're just as prestigious, and they specialize in movie props.
Well, it depends. Are you pedestrian? Are you trying to pass up for forgery? What are you trying to do?
Well, I'm not saying it's a forgery, but
I am.
The scrutiny at the movie memorabilia or movie prop auction houses is much higher for authenticity on this is the actual thing than the Rock Island would be. Rock Island would say, yeah, it's an old Mauser. It's got a custom barrel on it. You know, it's got some MG81 parts on it. It's got a German World War I scope. It's got a custom scope mount on, you know. That's the way they look at it. It's just kind of cool, and you know what I'm saying?
Some Revel parts stuck to it?
Well, it doesn't have any of the greave lease on it. No one's ever put the greave lease back on it. But I wonder, and I might be just blowing smoke, but I like to see what other people think. Why isn't it going through some place that you could even potentially get more money out of the gun going through these guys? You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to put that in my conspiracy theories this week.
Because they will also endorse with their own endorsements that, yes, we've done the research. And, do you remember There's a great there was a great thing on the carpet bag from Mary Poppins, how it disappeared. No one knew where it was forever. And it turned out there was a family that had it, and it was used to hold like the kids' toys down in the basement. The kids played with it all the time for all these years, and it was torn up, destroyed. And I don't, all right. Think about this, Straka. If you went to, say you went to the most prestigious anybody, and you said, hey, I've got the screen use Han Solo blaster from A New Hope or the first Star Wars movie, and a movie or a prop auction house, they would be all over that, but they would also verify everything. Rock Island is not going to go through the process because that's not part of their business. It's not part of their business model to verify a prop. If the owner says, I bought it from Bapty says it was in the movie, and Rock Island's going to say, oh, okay, here's the paperwork from Bapty. Here's what it says from Bapty. And then boom, it's in the auction.
There, found it.
You found, yeah. That's not it.
No. I found the one that they're putting there, I'm sure.
That's not the current auction.
No. This is the this is Facebook Marketplace. For $1,400, you can have either the Han or Luke blaster. I'm sure it's not Denix or Master Replicas.
Overpriced.
They are Denix. But anyway.
Oh, it does say Master Replicas on it. That has to be a typo.
I'm just saying.
You do better work.
This is not an item you would sell at Rock Island. This would be an item you would be selling at one of the more high-end movie memorabilia, because Rock Island more typically is a gun collector's, not a movie memorabilia collector's. But since they are gun collectors, their business is not set up or towards movie memorabilia. And
you have to. I mean, according to this picture,
and the big thing about
it's all wrong.
Movie memorabilia is authenticity. Is it really the thing? Where did it come from? Where's it been for the last 30 years or 40 years? All that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I think the one at Rock Island may not hold up to scrutiny, or there may not be enough evidence to say that actually is the real gun. Although I believe the scope and the mount are the real scope and mount, or at least most of it is. I don't know about the gun itself. That was the thing. The serial numbers, it's an all matching Mauser. The serial numbers all match up, but I don't know if it's really the broom handle that was in the movie. And then a few things in the description kind of make me feel like it's a little suspect also. How they said there was 3, but only 1 scope. The fact that they say there was multiple multiple bullnose Mausers makes me think that they couldn't find the original bullnose Mauser, and they made a new one out of old parts. You know what I'm saying? Like an old Mauser, they grabbed an old Mauser and made another broom handle, or maybe they had the barrel but didn't have the rest of the gun. Whatever the thing is, they didn't have all the parts.
How many parts do you have to replace, and it's no longer the same gun?
Well, this is not one of those things like a wooden ship. How many parts of a wooden ship do you have to replace?
I was thinking more John dies at the end, yeah.
No, something like this, it has to be all of it. You know what I'm saying? They even say that they're not even sure that the flash suppressor they used is the one that was used in the movie. It's one of the ones they had. And since it came, basically the Bapty argument would be they made the gun originally out of the Bapty inventory. And when Bapty was bought out in 2000, they reassembled the Han Solo blaster from the inventory they had. So that's kind of like, is it the same, or did it just come from the same pool of everything else?
So, how much do you think this fake's going to go for?
I think it'll go for at least 500,000. I think people will be chomping at the bit at it. Maybe it may only go for. I think it'll definitely go for 300,000 plus. But like I said, I think people ought to be a little bit suspect about it, and I think maybe it may not even go. Well, it's already been sold once. Oh, and another thing that actually kind of makes me think weird about it is they pulled the gun out, and there was a History Channel episode that featured the same gun that's for sale now, right? And then later on, they had a Pawn Star episode that also featured the same gun just before it went up for sale at auction from Bapty. So they were promoting the existence of the gun, even though it might actually not be the gun. And the guy that actually originally put the gun together, if you really watch the guy, he doesn't care. He doesn't even want to really be involved in all this. They keep pulling the guy out of retirement to do interviews. I think the old guy is like, yeah, they told me to get the most beat up Mauser parts, put everything together, and blah, 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 and this is what I did. But I think if you say, you know what, this looks exactly like what you did right here. This looks pretty good. It's like, yeah, that looks kind of like what I did. He doesn't remember, and he don't care. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, this is what I did in 1976. Are we done? Can I go?
I've done a lot of drugs since then.
It kind of seems like that to me. So I think he might say just about anything. I was like, yeah, you know. But anyway, regardless, it's cool that pieces of it still exist, but I think the scope is only really the main thing, if you ask me. And if you have anything to add, you want to do a close-up? Do a close-up of this. Just walk around and do a close-up.
Man, I got to get up and
I'm
walk.
so happy. That is the most favorite thing I did. That the way that piece turned out.
I hate you all.
I hate you all.
No, you just hate me.
See it? Play that. Turn it. There you go. A little more. No, back the other way. Slow. Let the focus hit it. Let the focus hit it.
It's not a model here.
I know he's not very good at it. Oh well, it'll never focus, but that's what I did over the weekend, and I'm really happy with that part because it looks very much like the original.
Drop it.
Oops.
Oops.
Actually, the tooling, the machine work on this turned out nicer than the original did, and I actually had to progressively step down smaller sizes to create all them marks. I actually have an end mill that made that look perfect. No tooling and no center mark either. It's an amazing end mill. And I was like, that thing is too good. And then I had to go mess it up with some other older bits.
And our professional CNC guy at work cannot make holes that actually fit things.
That's right. You know, my old, I have to say one thing. Franken printer, which is the most amazingly crappy, scary.
Frankenprinter has lasted
Frankenprinter
forever.
has been more reliable than the most
Technologically advanced in our arsenal
and
of printers.
the most. I spent 3 times the money on other printers that I spent on Frankenprinter, and Frankenprinter is 5 years old. That printer upstairs that I have that I'm talking about is not even a year old. I can't get it to last 3 months without major issues and teardowns. Frankenprinter, only until last year, had its hothead totally rebuilt, or actually replaced. It's still running on the original belts, original stepper motors, all original components, and the main control board has been on fire.
And it's an off-brand Persa printer from back in the day.
It's an off-brand Persa, and every time you fire it up, load filament into it, and ask it to do something, it does it.
Ish.
No, not it. Okay, it can't make perfectly round circles.
No, it
anymore.
makes eggs.
It makes oblongs, and I'm thinking it's the y-axis that's giving up the ghost.
Can we even calibrate that thing?
It's never been calibrated. It ran for 3 years straight, and it is still the best printer ever. It's the most reliable printer I have. I have 3 Mega 3s upstairs, and I have the new Chiron, whatever it is, and I have an Ender 3. And out of all those printers, that is the most reliable printer. It has given me the least amount of grief, the least amount of issues. I've actually been printing, finishing off because we couldn't find some of the pieces to George. Well, I found most of the pieces to George, and then I figured out just yesterday, what pieces I didn't have of George. And it's actually only one piece left. I didn't have his feet. That was it. I didn't have his feet, and one of the hands was already bad, so I actually reprinted that hand.
George Lucas.
So anyway, yeah.
So Matt's really going to like that blow-up doll that you made him.
Which one's that?
The George Lucas one? I'm sorry. Silicone-filled doll.
In carbonite, yes. Actually, but just before the show, his carbonite slab was sitting right here, and he was all mocked up to be glued together. And I had to throw all of George underneath the bandsaw and throw the carbonite slab over in the corner.
See, the plan was last year when we built the carbonite chamber that we would change things around every year, kind of,
Yes.
make it betterish.
And we were going to take Baby Groot, and then it would be Teenage Groot. But everybody loves Baby Groot, so we just... I was going to knock Baby Groot off and then have a larger Groot in there, like the Teenage Groot. And even within our own group, they were like, no. I'm like, but that was the gag. Every year he would get bigger and bigger. And Baby Groot's just going to stay. So Baby Groot stays. Admiral Akbar stays. Iron Man stays.
Are we going to paint Matt gray and put him on one as Peter Griffin?
No, and I wanted to do the Peter Griffin, and I was overruled and was not allowed to do it.
I didn't get the vote.
I know. Regardless. So anyway, your thoughts. Go read the description on the Rock Island auction page of the Han Solo ANH, and read the description. Do your own research. Then come back next week. Well, actually, we're not even going to be doing any discussions or anything next week because it's the game show. Because we won't actually be able to see discussions.
Nope.
We won't be able to see your guys' response next week. But join us next week. I don't know who our contestants will be. I will be your host. I have not figured out what the questions will be or anything like that.
Can I write the questions?
No. Okay. We do what? When was your birthday?
July.
It was last July. Okay. Every year from here on out, as long as this thing keeps going, July is going to be Movie Appreciation Month.
Well, what about Halloween?
And maybe we'll do some stuff in Halloween because Halloween is perfect for B movies.
Oh, yeah.
But July is Movie Appreciation Month, and it will always be a movie picked by this guy, and he will come up with the questions.
And I promise it will not be space boobs in space.
Come on. I mean, the best one ever, though, is Hell Comes to Frogtown because we made a huge deal out of it, and we pushed it. But anyway, don't forget, if you're out there, don't forget to sign up on that on the video for the game, the contest video. Sign up in the pinned comments. Put your name in there so you're in for the drawing. And then next week we will have our studio, this wonderful studio set up just like we did for the last game show
that I missed.
You did miss, but I'm hoping you're here. And I need to secure an alternate because we don't know if Matt's going to be here. So I will be securing an alternate from our vast
our 5 people.
Our workshop.
5 people.
Our workshop crew.
5 people.
No, you don't know who I'll secure. Maybe I'll secure Larry. Ooh.
No, because it's about Dragon Con time. And that
It
ain't
is about
happening.
Dragon Con time. You're right.
Ready to sign off?
I'm ready to sign off. Any questions for anybody out in the world?
No, I'll wait until next Wednesday. Or Tuesday.
All right. Get your names out. Get your names in there. Get your friends' names in. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't hurt anything. Get your, as many. We want as many names as possible because it's a lot of work to put one of these things together. And
No, it's not. It's like magic. I come back and it's done the next week.
Shut up. It's a lot of work to put one of these together. Hey, the value of the blaster when it's all done is about $135. So look at it that way. We basically give away about $125 to $135 price.
Goofy ass site.
Anyway, thank you for joining us tonight, and we will see you next week for the game show. And Hayden,
It's not just a show; it's a game.
it's a lot of fun. And by the way, none of us died or were electrocuted by the buzzer system or that you came up with, which you and I still need to finish and refine the finished product.
Yes.
We do need one more box to cover up all them wires and the things that are going to kill you.
It's sitting on my desk.
And then we got to give credit to Hayden because Hayden came up with built the 3D model that made up the buzzer thing, the buzzer housings.
Can we give him a Danzig Deathlock?
He likes Danzig.
Right
Anyway.
down the middle of his head.
We'll see you next week when we're playing the game show, the trivia show. Anything, Dad? Please add something.
See you, Space Cowboy.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.